Christmas, a time for joy, peace, and absolute stupidity. Today, we're breaking down the dumbest holiday decisions ever made. We've got hipsters burning down houses with vintage candles, families destroyed by DNA kits, and heroes launching fireworks from their own butts. From washing turkeys with dish soap to hatching hundreds of bugs in the living room, these are the ultimate guides on how to ruin the holidays in one easy step. Let's dive in. Number 1. First up, let's talk about the people who are obsessed with aesthetics over safety. I'm talking about the real candles on a dry tree crowd. You know the type. They've spent too much time on Pinterest or watching movies set in the 1800s. And they think, you know what would look so authentic and vintage? Actual open flames on a dying plant inside my living room. It sounds romantic in theory, right? A soft, flickering glow, that old-world charm. But here is the reality check. A Christmas tree that has been standing in your house for 3 weeks is not a tree anymore. It is essentially a skeleton made of wood and dry needles. And do you know what pine needles are full of? Turpentine and oil. In the fire safety world, we call that solid gasoline. So you have these hipsters or vintage lovers who clip real candles onto the branches. They light them up, take a photo for Instagram, and for about 30 seconds, it looks magical. Then, one candle tilts just a millimeter to the left. It touches a single dry needle. Now, you might think a fire starts slowly, giving you time to grab a bucket of water. No. There are videos of this online, and it is terrifying. A dry Christmas tree doesn't just burn, it explodes. We're talking about going from silent night to a fully engulfed living room in less than 10 seconds. It's flashover city. The fire climbs the tree faster than you can say, Merry Christmas, igniting the ceiling and the curtains. So, congratulations. You wanted a vintage 19th century vibe, and now you have a 19th century problem. Your house is gone because you didn't have a fire extinguisher. Number 2. Speaking of fire hazards, let's move on to a decision that comes from a place of good intentions but pure laziness. This is the case of watering the tree while the lights are on. Look, we all know you need to water a live tree to keep it from turning into the explosive hazard we just talked about. That's responsible. But some people are just not the brightest bulbs on the string. Picture this. It's the middle of the day. The tree is glowing beautifully with those cheap electric lights you bought at the dollar store, and you notice the water basin is dry. A smart person would crawl under the tree, unplug the cord from the wall, and then add water. But the person in this story, they think, I'll just be careful. They grab a pitcher of water and try to maneuver through the branches. But here is the thing about crawling under a Christmas tree. It is awkward. You are dodging ornaments. You are getting poked in the eye by branches, and your hand is not as steady as you think. Inevitably, they spill. And they don't just spill on the floor. They spill directly onto the extension cord or the plug where multiple strands of lights connect. Water plus cheap exposed wiring equals disaster. Best case scenario? You trip the breaker and the lights go out. Worst case scenario? You create a short circuit that sends sparks flying into that dry tree skirt, or worse, you get a nasty electric shock yourself. Nothing says happy holidays like getting zapped across the room because you were too lazy to pull a plug for 5 seconds. It is a physics lesson you really don't want to learn on Christmas morning. Number 3. Now, let's step away from the accidental fires and move toward the intentional stupidity. This next category is a classic. It happens every single year without fail. I call it the fireworks from the butt maneuver. Alcohol plays a huge factor here. It's late, maybe it's Christmas Eve or New Year's. Everyone has had a few too many eggnogs. And some guy, let's call him Kyle, decides he wants to be the star of the show. He finds a Roman candle or a bottle rocket. But holding it in his hand isn't cool enough. Placing it in a bottle on the ground is too boring. Kyle thinks, you know what would be hilarious? If I launched this from my butt cheeks. Spoiler alert, it is never hilarious. It is always a tragedy. Here is the problem with this decision. When you light a fuse near your backside, your body has a natural, involuntary reaction. You flinch. Your muscles clench. And when you clench your glutes around a firework, you're effectively locking it in place. So, instead of shooting up into the sky to explode beautifully, the rocket gets stuck. It has nowhere to go. So it explodes right there. The result is never a cool viral video. The result is third-degree burns. In places you definitely do not want third-degree burns. This decision leads to the most awkward Christmas Day emergency room visit imaginable. You have to explain to a tired doctor why you have scorch marks on your rear end while your family sits in the waiting room wondering where they went wrong raising you. If you have fireworks, put them on the ground. If you put them in your pants, you deserve whatever happens next. Number 4. But okay, maybe you are not that wild. Maybe you just want some innocent sparkle. That brings us to the indoor sparklers mistake. People have this misconception that sparklers are safe. Because we give them to kids, we assume they are just harmless, glowing sticks. But a sparkler burns at a temperature of about 1,800 to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That is hot enough to melt gold. It is definitely hot enough to melt your cheap polyester curtains. The scenario usually goes like this. Someone wants a cool photo. They hand out sparklers to everyone at the dinner table or in the living room. Okay, everyone, wave them around for the picture. Everyone cheers. But someone is standing just a little too close to the window. They wave the sparkler, and a few of those glowing hot embers fly off.
Get out!
They land on the tulle curtains or the tablecloth. Synthetic fabrics are basically made of oil and plastic. They don't just catch fire. They melt and drip flaming liquid. Suddenly, the drapes are blazing. The panic sets in. People start throwing water, running around, knocking over the turkey. It's chaos. And it all happened because someone didn't realize that bringing a welding torch-level heat source next to flammable decorations was a bad idea. Keep the fire outside, folks. Number 5. Now, we have to talk about the most devastating decision of all. The previous ones resulted in physical damage. Burnt houses, burnt butts. This causes emotional damage that lasts a lifetime. I'm talking about gifting DNA kits, like 23andMe or Ancestry, to the entire family. This has become a massive trend. It seems like such a thoughtful, fun gift. Hey, let's find out if we are 5% Irish. Let's see where our ancestors came from. It sounds harmless. But if you spend any time on Reddit, you know that this gift is the Grim Reaper of families. Here is the scenario. A guy buys kits for his mom, dad, and siblings. On Christmas morning, everyone spits in the little tubes, laughing and joking. They send them off. 6 weeks later, the results come back. And that's when the horror movie starts. Suddenly, the daughter realizes she doesn't share any DNA with the man she calls dad. Or maybe the son finds out he has a half sibling living 2 towns over that nobody knew about. Or, in the worst cases, they find out that mom and dad are actually cousins. I'm not joking. This happens. There was a famous story on Reddit where a guy bought these kits for his parents, and it revealed that his father had a secret second family for 20 years. The mother filed for divorce immediately. Another one revealed that the oldest brother was actually the son of the mother's high school boyfriend, not the dad. Imagine the guilt of being the person who gave that gift. You thought you were giving a fun science experiment, and instead, you handed your family a grenade, pulled the pin, and walked away. The Christmas dinner the following year is going to be incredibly awkward, assuming there is a dinner at all. It turns out some secrets are meant to stay buried, and spending $99 on a sale to dig them up is the dumbest financial and emotional decision you can make. Number 6. All right, we've covered fire hazards and family secrets, but we are not done yet. We still have to talk about the most awkward, cruel, and baffling decisions made around the Christmas tree. If you thought burning down the living room was bad, wait until you hear about the social disasters that make you want to move to another country and change your name. Let's start with a scenario that is practically a rite of passage for the disorganized gift wrapper. I'm calling this one the Grandma Surprise, or more accurately, the intimate toy mix-up. Here is how it goes down. You are stressed. It's December 24th. You are wrapping presents at the speed of the light. You have a nice, cozy scarf for your sweet 85-year-old grandmother. You also have a, let's call it, a very specific recreational device for your partner. Both boxes are roughly the same size. Both are wrapped in the same festive paper. In your rush, you forget to put the name tags on immediately. You think, I'll remember which is which. Fast forward to Christmas morning. The whole family is gathered. There are kids playing, parents drinking coffee, and Grandma is sitting in her favorite armchair. You hand her the gift. She smiles, tearing off the paper with her trembling hands. The room is quiet as everyone watches to see her reaction. She opens the box, expecting wool. Instead, she pulls out a vibrating purple silicone sculpture. The silence that follows is deafening. It is a silence so heavy it could crush a car. Grandma is confused. Your mom is horrified. Your dad is staring at the ceiling, praying for the apocalypse to start right now. And you are realizing that you just gave your grandmother an intimate toy in front of your entire bloodline. There is no coming back from that. You can't explain it away. You can't say, oh, it's a neck massager. Nobody believes that. You just have to sit there and let the shame consume you. This is a mistake you only make once, mostly because you will never be invited to Christmas again. Number 7. From accidental embarrassment, let's move to intentional cruelty. This next decision makes my blood boil, and yet parents do it every single year for likes on social media. I'm talking about the fake iPhone prank. We've all seen these videos. A kid, usually a teenager, sees a box shaped exactly like an iPhone 15 Pro Max under the tree. They are shaking with excitement. This is the big one. This is the gift they have been begging for all year. The parents have the camera rolling. Go ahead, open it, they say, suppressing a giggle. The kid tears the shrink wrap off. They lift the lid, tears of joy forming in their eyes. And inside, a pair of tube socks, or maybe a literal brick, or an old smashed Android phone from 2012. The parents start laughing hysterically. Gotcha! You thought you were getting an iPhone. But the kid isn't laughing. The kid is crushed. You can literally watch the truss leave their body in real time. This isn't a prank. It's a villain origin story. You are teaching your child that you are not to be trusted and that their happiness is just a prop for your entertainment. It's dumb because it ruins the mood for the entire day. The kid is crying, the vibe is dead, and now you look like a jerk on the internet. If you can't afford an iPhone, that is totally fine. But don't use the box to mock your own child. That is a decision that guarantees you'll be put in the cheapest nursing home possible when you get old. Number 8. Okay, let's pivot to the kitchen. Christmas dinner is the main event, and the centerpiece is usually a massive bird, a turkey or a goose. Cooking this thing takes hours. It requires planning. But sometimes people's brains just turn off. This brings us to the cold bird catastrophe. Imagine this. You wake up at 6 a.m. You prep the turkey, stuff it, season it, and slide it into the oven. You set the timer for 5 hours. You feel accomplished. You spend the rest of the day drinking mimosas and mingling with guests. The house smells, well, actually, the house doesn't smell like anything, but you're too distracted to notice. 5 hours later, the guests are seated. Everyone is hungry. You make a big show of opening the oven door to reveal the golden brown masterpiece. But when you pull it out, the bird is pale. It's cold. It is raw. Because you forgot to press start. Or maybe you didn't realize the oven was on timer mode instead of bake. The look on a host's face when they realize they have 20 hungry people and a raw 15-pound turkey is a look of pure despair. You can't quick fix a turkey. You can't microwave it. The decision to not double-check the oven leads to the most humble of all Christmas traditions, the emergency pizza order. Nothing says fancy holiday dinner like eating pepperoni pizza off fine china, because the host doesn't know how knobs work. Number 9. But honestly, eating pizza is better than eating what the next group of people serves. This is the soap-washed turkey disaster. There's a segment of the population that is terrified of germs. I get it. Raw chicken has salmonella. But these people take it to a level that defies biology and culinary science. They decide that rinsing the turkey with water isn't enough. No, they need to clean it with dish soap. I wish I was making this up. People take a sponge and Dawn dish soap and scrub the turkey like it's a dirty plate. Then they try to rinse it off. But here is the thing about poultry skin. It's porous. It absorbs things. You can rinse it all you want, but that soap is now part of the flavor profile. So, they roast it. The family sits down. Grandma takes a bite of the dark meat and suddenly looks confused. "Why does this taste like Alpine fresh rain?" she asks. Next thing you know, everyone is blowing bubbles when they talk. This is a disastrous decision because not only does it ruin the food, but it is also dangerous. You are feeding your family chemicals. And ironically, by washing the meat in the sink, you've probably splashed raw bacteria all over your kitchen counters anyway. So you failed at safety and you failed at dinner. Congratulations. Number 10. Christmas is a prime time for thieves, sadly. We call them porch pirates or Grinches. They steal decorations right out of people's yards. But this category is dedicated to the world's dumbest criminals, the Snow Edition. Stealing is already a stupid decision. But stealing in the winter requires a level of awareness that these guys just don't have. Here is the scenario. A guy sees a beautiful, expensive, inflatable Santa or a laser projector on a front lawn. It's 3 a.m. He thinks he's being sneaky. He grabs the loot and runs back to his house a few blocks away. He thinks he got away with the perfect crime. He sits on his couch feeling smug. Then 10 minutes later, there is a knock at the door. It's the police. Why? Because it snowed an hour ago. The genius thief left a perfect, crystal clear trail of footprints leading from the crime scene down the sidewalk, around the corner, and directly up to his own front porch. The police didn't need Sherlock Holmes for this one. They literally just looked down and followed the arrows. There is something so satisfying about this. It's instant karma provided by Mother Nature. Imagine explaining to the judge that you got caught because you forgot that walking in snow leaves tracks. It is a level of incompetence that honestly deserves jail time just for the stupidity alone. Number 11. Every year, millions of people insist on buying a real, authentic Christmas tree. They want that fresh pine smell. They want the feeling of nature in their living room. But they forget that nature includes, well, nature. Here's the situation. You're at the tree farm. You pick out a big, fluffy fir tree. You notice a weird walnut-sized lump attached to one of the branches. You think, look, a cute little pine cone. Or maybe it's just a weird clump of sap. So you bring it home, you decorate it. You crank up the heater because it's cold outside. And that is the fatal mistake. That lump isn't a pine cone, it is a praying mantis egg sac. And by bringing it into your nice warm house, you have just sent a signal to those eggs that it is springtime. A few days pass. You're sitting on the couch, drinking cocoa, admiring the lights. Suddenly, you notice the ornaments seem to be moving. You look closer. The tree is crawling. And I don't mean one or two bugs, I mean hundreds. A single sac can hatch up to 200 tiny praying mantises. They are everywhere. They are in the tinsel. They are on the presents. They are on the carpet. Christmas is canceled. You are now living in a National Geographic documentary. You spend the rest of the holiday vacuuming up baby insects and screaming. The lesson here: inspect the tree. If you see a weird lump, cut that branch off and throw it into the neighbor's yard. Do not bring the ecosystem inside. Number 12. Next up, let's move to the kitchen for a decision that is honestly just offensive to anyone who loves food or basic sanitation. This is the dishwasher turkey hack. The internet is a dangerous place. Every year, some influencer goes viral by claiming you can cook or thaw your Christmas turkey in the dishwasher. Their logic seems to be, well, it's hot water and it sprays everywhere, so it's like a giant sous vide machine, right? Wrong. So very wrong. First of all, a dishwasher is designed to clean dirty plates, not prepare food. But the people who try this usually decide to use the rinse cycle to thaw a frozen bird. Here's the problem. Dishwashers are full of residue. You have old bits of food in the filter, and more importantly, strong chemical soap scum in the pipes. So you put your expensive turkey in there. It gets blasted with hot water. Not only is the water not hot enough to kill bacteria, hello, salmonella party, but your meat now absorbs the leftover chemicals from your last wash cycle. Imagine serving your family a beautiful golden turkey that tastes like Cascade Platinum with a hint of lemon breeze. It is disgusting, it is lazy, and it is a great way to send the entire family to the bathroom for the next 48 hours. If you don't have time to thaw a turkey properly in the fridge, order a pizza. Do not involve your appliances in culinary crimes. Number 13. Finally, let's talk about a decision born from pure nostalgia and too much eggnog. This is the indoor sledding disaster. We all watched Home Alone as kids. We saw Kevin McAllister sled down the stairs and out the front door, and it looked epic. But as adults, we forget two things. One, Kevin was a light child, and two, that was a movie with a stunt team. But that doesn't stop Uncle Dave. At the peak of the Christmas party, Dave looks at the staircase. He looks at a crib mattress, a laundry basket, or a plastic tote lid. He thinks, I can do this. He climbs to the top of the stairs. The family gathers around, phones out, chanting his name. He sits on the mattress. He pushes off. Now, physics takes over. Gravity accelerates a 200-pound man very quickly. The stairs are not a smooth ramp. They are bumpy. So Dave isn't gliding. He is violently vibrating, biting his tongue and losing control. But the real problem is the landing. In the movies, they glide out the door. In reality, most staircases end in a wall. Dave hits the bottom of the stairs at 20 miles per hour. He doesn't stop gracefully. He flies off the mattress and creates a human-sized hole in the drywall. The music stops. The laughter stops. Dave is holding his shoulder because he just broke his collarbone. The party is over because now you have to drive Dave to the ER and explain to the triage nurse that a grown man tried to bobsled inside a suburban house. It costs thousands of dollars in medical bills and drywall repair. Just go outside to the hill, folks. The stairs are for walking, not for testing Newton's laws of motion. So there you have it. A comprehensive guide on what not to do this December. We've covered everything from accidental arson and frozen turkeys to destroying your family tree with a simple DNA test. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. Surviving the holidays is an achievement in itself. You don't need to impress anyone with risky stunts, deep-fried experiments, or dangerous vintage aesthetics. Just keep the fire in the fireplace. Keep the soap off the turkey, and for the love of everything holy, double-check the labels on your gift boxes before you hand them to your grandmother. But now, I want to hear from you. I know my list was crazy, but I have a feeling some of you have seen worse. What is the single dumbest decision you've ever witnessed during the holidays? Did your uncle set the lawn on fire? Did a harmless prank go terribly wrong? Or maybe you have a horror story about a company Christmas party. Do not be shy. Expose your family in the comments down below. I'll be reading through them and pinning the absolute craziest story, so make it good. If this video made you feel a little bit better about your own life choices, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want more deep dives into the weirdest and funniest sides of human behavior, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss the next upload. Stay safe, stay smart, and have a happy and hopefully disaster-free holiday. I'll catch you in the next one.